Okay, we are live. Welcome, all you beautiful empresses out there. I'm so excited to connect with you today. Welcome if you're new to the group. It's such a pleasure to get to connect with you and get to know you and have you here. So I'm excited. And if you're new to this group, one of my latest offerings that I've been doing for the last few months is to do a Soulcast and energy report for the month. And last month I had my notes that I had taken, and it helped me so much to like navigate and just kind of know like some of the themes. I actually went back and listened to my own channeling because I couldn't remember everything I said. And so it provided to be very useful, and it's just a fun way for me to really connect in and see what's going on. And how it helps you is to support you through the month. And basically, what I do is I break everything down into the weeks, and I kind of tell you some of the bigger celestial events that are happening in the week, but then I channel and see what energies are coming up. And it's all about the soul and how to elevate to your, highest essence, your truest essence, I should say. Really about coming back home to yourself and using this as a tool, just a tool to guide you and all of that fun stuff. So, hi Mindy, how are you? If you are on here, I'd love to connect with you. So say hi. Really quick announcement before I get started. This Saturday, I have an event called Highest Service, Highest Calling. It's online. It's going to be from 10 a.m. Pacific until about 5 p.m. Pacific. It's a day to really step into a few different things. Like the first part of the day is really going to be like coming to the sacred altar of your heart, getting clarity on how you've been feeling, how you want to wind this year down. Then we're really going to focus on what it is that you need to release, the resistance, whatever's coming up, that big keeping you from really being in your soul's purpose. Your purpose does not have to be the thing that you do for a living. Come on, that's like so old school thinking, but it's really just like how you want to show up in your life. What is your driver? Like, what's the thing that keeps you like moving forward and makes you feel really alive and excited and passionate to wake up every morning? So my job as a guide that day is to help kind of lead you to what your deeper purpose is, and then how to facilitate stepping into your unique gifts around that, creating a little bit of a plan, because we'll have that energy brewing and we're going to share. And it's, even though we're online, I know how to cultivate these things. I do everything online for years. And then we're going to have breath work, and that will be the final release. And then we'll do some integrating after that. So it's going to be an amazing day. I would love for you guys to join if possible. It's $297. If you need to break it up into a couple payments, let me know. But you're going to receive tremendous, tremendous value that day. Okay. So there's that. Okay, let me see who's on. Hi, Abby. She's going to be there. And Amanda. Hi, Amanda. And Sherry and Christina and Amy. Nice to have you. I'm glad that you're here today. Okay, so I am going to start to tune in. We have, the week already started, right? We started off like just coming off the tail end of that big, big, big full moon in Taurus, just lots of energy. I bet a lot of you have felt like such a big release. And hopefully you're still in the midst of letting go of what is not working or serving you, okay? This week, obviously today's a huge day, but Mercury went into direct motion. So it was hey Lauren, it was in retrograde, and now it's finally shifting and it's starting to go forward. So that's always good news, because if you're wanting to sign contracts or, get back to traveling or doing anything that has to do with paperwork and all that, computers, once Mercury goes back into forward motion, it's like, it's great time to get back on those things. But let me first pull the card for November and start to see what energy wants to come through. And if you guys are new to me, I channel source, I channel the divine, however you want to say it, God. I just go straight to source and get that info through my channel. Ooh, I have these all upside down. New beginnings, babies. That's the whole month of November. I always write this down. So prosperity begins is our card for November. That's going to be an overall theme. And if you look at this card, it's a number one. But when I'm tuning into this card and just the energy for our soul, essentially it's, we've had to let go of some very difficult things. We've been in some maybe stickier situations where we felt like we weren't having a lot of movement and momentum, and maybe you've had some projects and some things that haven't been taking off, and just like having that kind of like that next level of motivation. And this is the month, or like showing me the 11 symbol too, is like there's a little bit of mastery to this month. There's going to be some tumultuous energy this month. There's going to be some challenging pills to swallow, maybe with the election and different things like that, depending on what side of the fence you're on. But everything is happening so that it feels like things are like shaking loose a little bit. Like there's going to be like maybe some pressure buildup, and then it feels like towards the end of the month, there's going to be a nice release. So in some ways, you may feel a sense of tension. You may feel like, oh my God, what's happening? Like there's change on the horizon, and what does that mean for me? There's always going to be change. There's always going to be things happening. And it's about opening our heart to receive that which wants to flow through us. And that's, this energy of prosperity. It's not so that you can be tortured or suffer or anything like that. Like, I want you all to imagine that if you spent October in preparation of letting go of a lot of things, which I know I did. Like October was one of the most challenging months I've had in about, years, honestly. And I was very confronted. And I don't know, for some of you, it may have been littler changes, but when that happens, that squeeze of like change and uncertainty, it's to birth something new. So this is the month that we get to start to see some of these things come together, start planting the seeds, start getting a level of deeper clarity of what new beginnings you want to have, okay? And whatever happens, they're showing me like the collective, like the world, whichever way it goes, because Source does not show me if it's going to be Trump or Biden. I don't tune into those things, actually. That's not my thing. But what I am receiving, and I think I said this last one too, is there's so much global assistance coming from the higher realms. And I see this beautiful, like royal blue energy, almost like a net being cast around the planet. All the grids are being worked on. And so what I mean by that is, like, think of Mama Earth having her own energy field, and all those grids are being worked on, and like the energy of peace is coming through. It may not happen this month where we're like, oh, everything's so peaceful. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, don't lose faith or hope. Hold the frequency that you want to see for the planet, and most especially what you want to co-create for your life, okay? Because there's so much assistance coming in, like I said, and there's this beautiful field of Christ consciousness energy. That's this royal blue that I'm feeling in my heart, and when I tune into it, it really like almost like blasts my heart open, and it's this energy of like self-expression. If I were to step into the highest aspect of my being, how would I express myself? How would I show up? How would I be more my purpose? How would I lead other people from that vantage point? Okay, so that is the energy for the month. Now I'm putting it back in the deck because we're gonna, and so let's see what this week, the first, and like I said, this is the week that Mercury moved forward. Okay. So we got the Rest and Rejuvenate card for this week. I'm just taking a deep breath because I can feel this one in my body. And when I tune into this, like, okay, so just like the basics of this card, but these cards are just like little touch points for me. It's not really, how I'm channeling them. It's just a part of like the storyline that they're showing me. It's a 4 card. So 4 is your foundation. 4 is your ability to feel very physically grounded, is what they're telling me that this card has a lot to do with. It says rest and rejuvenate, right? This guy is out in nature. So this is a card where, they're telling me right off the bat, you're gonna have to disconnect from the crazy. It doesn't matter if the president you want gets elected. It's more about the stir, the chaos, the energy that's going to ensue, where there may be some people not pleased or some people not happy, some people, I don't want to be here anymore, I don't want to do this. And depending on whatever their, which, way they wanted things to go. And what I'm being shown is like, if you're plugged into the matrix right now, like, you literally have to imagine you're unplugging yourself this week. I mean, it is paramount, so that your energy body can reset itself. Because what they're showing me, it's so funny, is like, almost if it was, if you were plugged into like an electric socket, the voltage that's going to go through will like burn out the amps. Like, it's too much. Like, it won't work. You won't be able to like sustain your own level of being able to be grounded and have stability. And so, yeah, Christina, nature is such a great chakra balancer for me, for sure. And what I'm seeing with this energy is that this is a choice point week for all of us. And it tunes into that prosperity begins card, because it's like, are you going to, if a wave was coming at you and you had a choice between sinking or swimming, or just, being carried off, let's just say, and not knowing where you were going to go, like, how are you going to respond when life comes to you and comes at you? Are you going to like let the emotional overwhelm, create so much heaviness or fear? It's the fear, that you start to kind of like lose yourself in that. And so the energy is very much about swimming. Get your swim on, right? Like, you're going to be swimming, and you're going to like say, okay, where am I swimming to? Well, I'm creating with God my reality, and I'm going to make sure that it's not ignoring the fear that I'm feeling, but it's like really saying, okay, like, all of this can exist, but what is it going to take for me to have safety? So interesting. When I did my sacred ceremony, my shaman, if you guys didn't watch last week, but I said I took my client and we did a sacred ceremony with a shaman a couple weekends ago. And he said the coolest thing. He's like, I'm a safety broker. And the number one thing every human being wants is to feel safe, right? Without a doubt. Like, we want to feel safe. We want to know that our reality is going to be okay. And we're coming into a time where that is going to require a deeper level of sovereignty. This is no longer like they're showing me the training wheels coming off the bike. Like, this is no longer like, I'm going to use my training wheels. I'm going to use something outside of myself in order to feel safe. Like, maybe if I distract myself, maybe if I watch Netflix, maybe if I have a friend tell me everything's going to be okay. That is not going to work anymore. And I don't mean that like you're not going to use support. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, do I feel within my being that I am rooted and grounded into this earth, and I am connected to the divine? So it's like a two, if I were to do my hands in two different ways, it's like a two-tiered approach, right? I'm grounding in my physical body, and my spirit is connected to something higher than me. So I will not fall prey to every illusion that's going to show up this week and be like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because we all know that that tidal wave that's coming, and it could affect the emotional body, the mental body, and the physical. Like I'm saying, rise above. Remember how powerful you are. Rest, unplug, go within, and take time to meditate and to create something beautiful within yourself. And, one of the big things that I saw for me, recently when I did my ceremony, was my ability to feel safe in myself, my ability to have certainty over my reality. And I realized that, there's always work for us to do. There's always an opportunity for us to feel more safe. And it's really working through like that old trauma. And I've said this before in different lives, is that if you have a lot of trauma for your past, like separation wounds, abandonment, rejection, whatever you may have felt, and you have not worked on that, these are the times, right? These last few months has been such a deep initiation into doing the deeper work within ourselves. So these are the times that will trigger all that stuff, because of the fear. And so there's always an opportunity to feel more safe in our lives. And so I would invite you through your meditation, through the rest and rejuvenation this week, what can you do to feel more safe in your body, which will allow your spirit to be more present? Because what happens is if we're in survival mode in our physical body, we are disassociated. We're not there. Okay. So lots of deep breaths this weekend or this week, lots of drinking water, lots of like detoxification, salt baths, Epsom salt baths, going to the beach, going on walks in nature, letting Mama Earth really guide you and lead you back home to your heart. Okay, so that's the energy for that first week. Amanda, you said, love the reference to training wheels. Yeah, might feel scary at first, but it's the freedom and sovereignty that we are craving. Exactly, 100%. It is scary. And my girls are like right at that age where they're like riding bikes and stuff, and I could see how scary it is. And it's like, nope, you got this. And then once you get it, like this is the thing I always love to say to my clients, whether it's money, whether it's a sense of safety, when things come at you, okay, that challenge that, and let's say you've done your work, like you don't usually go backwards. Like you get to like hold firm and steady. So you may have higher challenges, like what is that saying, new level, new devil, but that's okay, because like once you start to kind of have that inner alchemy of like, I know how to feel safe with myself, I'm willing to take these risks, that's how you move. That's the joy and the excitement of life, right? Is when we trust that, when we have that inner stability and resiliency. And that's what we're all working on, planetary wise. Like everybody's working on that. Nobody's immune from that whatsoever. And some people are asleep to it, but that's not. Okay, and so on the 15th, we have that week we have the moving on card. And so that also is the week of the new moon, and it's a new moon in Scorpio, right? So it's all Scorpio is like the deep feels. Oh my God, it's like the shadows, like what has not been able to be shown to us and be present to us comes up through the surface, the darkness. And if you're afraid of the word darkness when I say that to you, like let's talk about it at some point, because the darkness, everybody has darkness within themselves, and it doesn't mean that you're a dark person or you're evil or you're bad. It just means it's the places within us, like the shadow, that hasn't yet come to the light. So this is the week, it feels like on a soul level, there's going to be a lot of like, it's time for me to move past that. It's time for me to let go. It's time for me to move on. Just like the card says, moving on. What is it that I need to do to start to embrace? So they're telling me all the work that you've been doing for the last 3 to 4 months, like this is the week that some of it really starts to kind of settle in. It starts to integrate and the choices become clear. What is also happening simultaneously is we're starting to move out of a lot of like the retrogrades, things are going to start to go, we have Mars moves direct on the 13th. And so this particular, so that'll happen the week of the 8th. But what I'm feeling is happening with the new moon and this move on card is that we got our permission slip. You get your permission slip. So whatever it is that you have been holding on tightly to, that you're like, I'm not sure if I'm ready to let this go, or I'm not sure if I'm ready to step into the vastness and the bigness of who I am. That's the deeper message they're telling me right now. You are going to feel like you're stepping into this like sense of yourself and like, can I really like embody this, newer version of me? Because we've been toggling between who I used to be and knowing you can't go backwards and how your life used to be and what you used to consider normal, and then this future version, right? And all of a sudden, this is the week that things are like, yes, let's move, let's get going, let's start acting on, embodying the energy of the new. The future is a feeling. It calls to you, okay? So that week in particular, I feel like the future is going to be speaking to you. And it's going to be very powerful, but I'm also hearing the word that there's going to be some sort of neutrality to it. It's almost like whatever you're going to like step into, whatever you're leaving behind, you've done the work. it's not something that's like all of a sudden like new. It's like, if you think about Mars too, Mars is a planet that is, or it's like Aries energy, it's warrior, and it's like the individual versus the collective. And sometimes we during this Mars retrograde, we've gotten a chance to see, especially those of us that have a lot of Aries, which I do, we had to really ask ourselves some deeper questions like, does this work for me in my life? Versus like, should I keep empathing and worrying about everybody else and how I'm showing up and like what people think of me and all these things. And this is the week with this card that whatever downloads that you receive during the Mars retrograde, whatever you learned about yourself individually, according to everybody else around you, this is the week you take action and start to move on it. So it feels really good. And I just love this card. It's because it's going from dark to light. Let me just check in with you guys. Where do I need to take out the train? Yeah. And Abby said, did we miss the 8th or was that the first card now to the 15th? Rest and Rejuvenate was the first. The 8th was, did I put that in the wrong place? So somebody tell me if I put don't want to go backwards towards the future. Yes. Ironically, I did not. So moving on. Okay, I wrote down by the 15th. Did I skip that week by accident, you guys? Somebody tell me in there if for the 8th I put, because I was talking about Rest and Rejuvenate. Oh my God. I'm channeling, so I don't even remember. How freaking crazy is that? Moving on, Rest and Rejuvenate. Somebody tell me if that's this card that I said was for the 8th or for the 15th. This is, you just accidentally said the 15th. Okay. Okay. So moving on then is that week of the 8th. Sorry, guys. And that's where Mars is going direct on the 13th. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm telling you, and some of you guys probably channel, when you channel, you lose all sense of time and space. Like, it's insane. Okay. So now the week of the 15th with the new moon in Scorpio. Let me see what the card is coming through. Okay. I like to, I don't realize how much I talk on these. I have a session at 1:30. I might have to be a little late because I want to make sure I get through this. I tried to do these in 30 minutes, but. Okay. So the week of the 15th is the waiting game. Okay. So this is hilarious because we just got a card that was like, we're moving on, we're moving forward. What did I learn individually, and how do I want to show up differently? And then this is the card that's saying, okay, yes, you're leaving something behind, but it's going to take a little bit for everything to still, feel grounded. Like there's still plans are going to be in motion and in action. The two, they're using, for some reason, they're referencing like the gene keys, the dancer. So the 2 in the gene keys is the dancer, and that's the energy of fluidity and flow and knowing that, yes, you may have left something behind. Yes, you got this download. Yes, all these things. But that week, this is the new moon in Scorpio is on the 14th, 15th, depending where you live in the world. And it's so perfect for a new moon, right? We plant seeds on a new moon. We get clarity. We get the idea of where we're going with things. So after you make some space and some room within your life, then you're going to start to dance with what you want to call in and bring in. So this is just a week that you might feel a little pause. So interesting because the energy feels like pause, go, and now we have another kind of. It's not a pause per se, like things won't happen, but it's the waiting games, and not everything's gonna like. They're telling me is everything's not instantly going to feel better after you move on from something. It's not all of a sudden like you rip the Band-Aid off and you're like, oh my God, okay, I did it, but no, I'm not feeling like everything is perfect just yet. Well, of course, it's never going to be perfect. But this is the energy that's saying, give it time. What does it look like? I keep seeing the dancer. And there's more messages with the dancer. So first of all, you think the partnership, the dances, that you're dancing with life, or you can say you're even dancing with the divine. So what would it look like to know that you're planting the seeds for that which you want to bring forward? And it has a lot to do with your emotional body again. There's a lot of ties to the emotional body right now. And what would it look like to trust and to dance with life and trust that whatever you're planting seeds for will come in its own timing? That the new choices and the new moves you're making will all make sense. And it almost feels like when you're dancing, there's like a little bit of stumbling or a little bit of like, oh, I don't know that move. Like, that's a new move for me. Like, how do I go about that? So it's like, you got to kind of think on your feet a little bit this week, and you got to kind of like be willing to like try something different and be okay with the fact that when you're dancing with life, you may fall a little bit, but the thing is, you're going to be caught. You're going to be held. You're going to be okay. Because there feels like there's a little bit of tenderness, a little bit of rawness to this week, and a little bit of vulnerability. And there always is with new moons, right? Especially with Scorpio. Holy shit. Scorpio is like that sign that brings up all the feels, So just know that that's happening. And then the other thing they were saying about dancing is when you're choreographing something. So imagine when you're, if I remember when I was a little girl and I was in dance class, and we would like choreograph a dance over and over again, and then you go and perform it, right? Well, this is an opportunity for choreographing as well. So you're going to be dancing with life in the divine, but there's also this feeling of like, I'm practicing, I'm choreographing something new. What does this feel like? Like, let me step into my future life. What is it that I want to feel? And okay, I'm going to hold that frequency now so that it starts to like be magnetized into my life. Okay, so that's the week of the 15th. Okay, so now let's see. Oh, hey, Chris. Yeah, Amanda, you said when it's channeling, no anchor into linear time, 100%. Amanda, it was great seeing you. Hi, Cynthia. So great to have you. Okay, so the 22nd, that's the week that we're on. That's Sunday going into the, ooh, we got the Triumph card. So we're moving from the waiting game. I told you, it's like, pause, go. And Triumph is like a 7, so it's about your frequency. It's also this energy of, it kind of goes right off of what I was saying with holding the future vision of what it is that you want to feel. So this is about disciplined action and willpower. It's about achieving. It's about, I feel this sense of like, oh, I made this happen. This feels really good. My hard work is paying off. I'm starting to see a glimpse of my future. I'm liking this. I'm loving this. So there's this sense that things kind of have some movement. And this is a big card, right? This is a major arcana card. So it's not just a little like, some of these, actually none of these cards yet have been a major arcana. So this is the card that's saying, okay, this is going to be a big theme, big energy. And what I'm feeling for this one is they're showing me that blue energy again, a lot of healing. So everything that you've been working on earlier in the month starts to, and what you've been working on for some time, this is not just this month, but your emotional body is regulated more if you can make sure that you're doing that. And then that allows you to continue to dream and feel like things are moving forward. And it may be something, it feels like it's something in your environment. So it might be a new environment. It might be something new with your job. It might be something in your relationship. But it feels like there's this like sense of like, thank God I did this and I held the vision. And now I'm here. Okay, so that's the energy for the 22nd. There's not much that they're saying about that one. It just feels like a really good feeling of like a knowing that, okay, there's proof in your environment of the work that you've done. There's proof that things are moving forward. Yeah, I love that. Okay, I gotta hustle, ladies. I'm sorry, because I just looked and but we're on the 29th, so this is perfect. I don't want to be too late for my client. Okay. Oh my God. The 29th is the temptation card. That's the devil card in the traditional tarot. So this is a big energy too. Neptune, that I think rules Pisces, is going direct the 28th and 29th. So there's going to be this like forward movement finally. Like we're going to have a lot of psychic awareness, they're telling me. And we also have a full moon that week and a lunar eclipse. There's lots of releasing as well with that full moon. So this is a big week. So when you get this card, there's a squeeze, right? That's what it feels like. There's a squeeze. And it's like, oh my gosh, okay, I was making, I'm feeling good. I'm making momentum. I'm starting to see, oh, but I'm tempted to go back to what feels more comfortable because this feels so new and so different and there's so much uncertainty. Can I really hold this new frequency? Can I feel safe in this? And that's why the whole month you're kind of working on this. You're working on the transformation that's going to happen. So with this temptation card, good old devil on your shoulder, if you will. This is a card that's letting you know that you will be tempted to go back to something. You will feel a sense of like, oh my God, this feels hard. I want it to be easy. Let me just take that shortcut over there. Maybe I could take that detour to where I'm heading and just skip the work that I have to do. And the divine is saying, no, no, hold steady. The miracle is coming. Stay attuned. And this is very much about your energy body and your physical body. Like when I feel this energy, it's like your whole body's going, oh my God, how do I regulate all this? How do I stay grounded? How do I just want to go back. And there's such this feeling of like, it feels like the inner child is so triggered for some reason this week by something. And it could be, all the full moon stuff. But the key with this one is, like you already saw in the last one, that you're getting forward momentum. Things are going in a new direction. Don't give up before the miracle comes. Don't stop yourself from receiving that which you truly want. And this one feels like they're talking about the sacred union of the divine masculine and feminine. This is the healing of that energy in a lot of ways. So when it comes to safety and not going back and not believing in limiting beliefs and stories and old identities, and this is the card of addictions too. This is the card of like maybe somebody around you is going to go into an addiction. Maybe you're seeing addictions. This is old addictions, but some of you aren't necessarily tied into the addiction energy, but it is an addiction to something. An addiction to like the things that we use to feel safe. That's what the inner child is telling me. Oh, I just want to feel safe. I don't want to feel that sense of, processing all these things. So this one is going back to the sacred union. Make sure your Holy Father and Holy Mother energy this is the week that you're going to really like have it ground into your heart, which means to me, you have to parent yourself. This is not about going outside of yourself and going, hey, mommy and daddy, for me, I'm 46 years old, please parent me. No. How do I parent myself? How do I tell myself it's going to be okay? How does the inner mother in me love the child in me and nurture that? How does my inner father in me say, hey, let's have some structure and let's stay committed to the vision? Let's not go back to this old shit. No, you've got this. That's the energy of this week. Okay, now that I'm officially late for my client, I got to run, beautiful ladies. That is the energy. Next time I'm going to book more times that I have, but we got through it. It's going to be, there's beauty in all of this. There's no good or bad, right? Everything is allowed to be experienced. This is really just about navigating tools. For some of you, there may be a week that it's so mellow and that the energy doesn't even impact you. It's like, okay, I'll just rest and rejuvenate, no big deal. Or, oh, I'm feeling a little tempted by going back to my old eating habits. It doesn't always have to be. Everybody's a different level in their trajectory of what they're experiencing. So I don't want you to be like, oh my God, this is scary. It's like, no, everybody's going through their soul involution and evolution. And you get to trust that it's exactly where you need to be. And this is just a guide to help you. Sending you guys so much love. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And leave me some comments and tell me, what you think and how the prior months have served you. Okay. Talk to you guys later. Amy, thanks for being on. It was great to connect with you.